We back at it again. It's Aaron.
My bad. It's Vic.
Hey, Quinn.
It's the end of the year, man. So we on that last stretch. This is my official last week of classes, but I still got to work up to the holiday. But I'm glad to be here. One more final tomorrow, and I can really start really get into my real research mode for winter time, leading up to the spring semester. So how y'all feeling?
I'm good. I got 1.5 more papers, and then some work towards my dissertation. My committee is finalized. Everybody just need to sign off. So that's a milestone. For me, that's a milestone in my journey. So I'm proud of that. Yeah. So just wrapping up.
That's good.
Man, it's over with for me.
So you kicking back.
Well, I had my feet kicked up this weekend, man. I ain't know what to do with myself.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So me and Vic had a virtual birthday party for her yesterday.
No, that was not a virtual birthday party for me. That was a virtual housewarming.
I'm about to say, Vic, why I ain't get the invite? What's going on?
No. That was not for me.
It was impromptu.
We had a good time last night. Even I wasn't even there.
I was just on to spinning. Yes.
Okay, had a good time. It really turned to a Christmas extravaganza / housewarming for Jasmine.
Boy,
and then some birthday stuff got thrown in there.
Yeah, cause big birthday coming up. And on top of that, Jasmine got a new spot. So Kelly and Ghetto, they came they came to see Jasmine's new spot. But bruh, crazy spot though, bro. Crazy spot, like straight spot.
That was up, man.
Yeah. So it was cool, man. And we end up we end up reliving 2012 all over again.
Boy.
I promise you. Man, next thing I know, we playing a little game, blowing out the counters, a little TikTok game. Like the blowing out the counters, and whatever amount of counters you don't blow out, you gotta take little shots.
Yeah.
Boy.
Trying to virtually peel.
Man, boy, I woke up that morning spinning.
Boy, not on your mic, Vic.
No. I'm not trying to get a little dizzy.
You get a little dizzy.
That boy, my feet told you trying to get dizzy. No, it was cool though, man. I was glad to see Jabbing and Killer. I ain't seen them in a little minute. Well, I ain't seen them in a little minute, man. So it was good to seeing them, but just thinking about how we always, not kind of sort of go down memory lane, but just embrace the moment and like, dang, but we done came a long way since then. Like everybody pushing forward, like she got this going on, she got this going on, you got this going on, Quiz, Vic got this going on, like, but we pushing forward, like, but we're not the same people from years ago. So
no.
I think that growth is important. And I was watching that Umar Johnson Breakfast Club interview this week. Like I watched it all the way through. Then I had to rewatch certain parts of it. I was like, this man right here is working that other one. And shout out to the King though, man. Shout out to the King, man. We'd love to have you on here, Umar, because I know you are an intelligent man. I know you got about 17 degrees, but come holler at us.
Yeah, very intellectual, man. We support the schools and all that, man. I salute that. But boy, some of that stuff.
Yeah. So let's get in on that. What y'all think about that? Well, I think we can start off first as far as like him just talking about for like the primary school, K-12 school, where, and I'm just say this on top of it, we don't know all the details. We just talking about as far as what we didn't heard off the interview on the Breakfast Club and another interview off of the Comedy Central interview. Like as far as how influential you think K-12 having like agriculture programs into the curriculum, how important do y'all think that is?
Man, we talk about the importance of that all the time. That's extremely important. It's something that we done we done got away from that. We don't really talk about for real, but that's something that's needed in our primary schools. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you need a curriculum for in our primary schools, especially in our community. We don't come up going, knowing about stuff like that, or even going to the next level. Like if somebody was to sit you down and say, hey, you can go to this school for free, or you can go to this school for free if you major in agriculture. A lot of us don't even know what that looked like coming from where we come from. You know what I mean? So I think it's important.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, you see it now with especially, like Georgia starting, I think that the elementary, it like integrating ag into ag ed, of course, into those kindergarten, elementary grades. But like my introduction, it wasn't even I guess you would say, the traditional introduction to agriculture from a formal perspective was 4-H. And we didn't even do, that in Girl Scouts, but we weren't the traditional ag. It was leadership. You know what I'm saying? And it was during that time when Katrina happened. That was when I was heavy in 4-H. And Katrina happened, so all them kids came up. It wasn't none of that. It was leadership. So I think it's super important. I know Aaron had brought up FFA and how the introduction of kids being in FFA happens so early. Like you'll have a 10th grader that'll be like, yeah, I've been in FFA for like 8 years. It's like, well, how well, not necessarily, but you know what I'm saying, have that much time invested in FFA. And it's like they start early, they start training them up early. So
yeah, because I was thinking about just certain opportunities like they getting exposed to, not like what Square was saying as far as scholarship information when they want to go on to college, but just being able to think through problem solving situations is probably one of the most best thing I'm seeing. Like these kids are able to think critically through conversations, different dialogues, how to create business plans, how to implement critical thinking skills all the way around. Because just what, like, you're not seeing the average kid in middle school, in the elementary school, learning how to have doing like great public speaking, learning how to talk through interviews, making sure it's not just like a question and answer. It's more so like a dialogue. They're having a regular conversation. Like I'm like, damn, wow, this is amazing. Like, and you seeing it when these students are transitioning on in life, because even if they don't go to a 4-year or 2-year college, they are already in position to be successful, whether that's adding value to somebody else's business or creating their own. Because some of the businesses that we was telling me about, she had saw with the young students this past FFA conventions, like I said, dang, they doing that already. We ain't even think about that. And share some of the ideas some of the students talking to you about, Vic.
What part? What you mean?
Was it a beekeeping business? One of the guys that was at FFA talking to you about, or was it like a vertical farming? What was it?
Oh, vertical farming. He was a junior, and he had his own vertical farming operation. In fact, he grows pineapples.
What is vertical farming?
Basically, it's basically farming without it's non-traditional farming. So you basically use watering pods and and structures. I don't know. It's different forms of vertical farming, but some are in freight containers, and the water source is really the foundation for growing and producing.
Like standalone hydroponic system, stand-up hydroponic
Right.
system.
Yeah, and it can either be vertical or horizontal, depending on whatever sustainable system, whatever form that you or structure that you want to use. But basically, you growing really with water.
Yeah, water like rock wool or something like that.
And you don't have no season. You growing all year long.
Oh right. Yeah.
That's probably the best thing. Like you growing all year long versus just having one season. I remember we used to teach about vertical farming with Cypress when I used to do Cypress programs, 4-H programs. in Orangeburg, going around teaching what vertical farming is and what it looks like. And what's that big company? And they do a lot of recruitment for Manners. But they had like a special. I used to show them a video, and they had like a vertical farm operation in like a warehouse. So
There.
not no, it was it's gonna bother me now. I'm gonna look it up, but tell them about the student that you had met as far as what he was just how he was so enthusiastic about getting his business off the ground and what he's done so
Oh
far.
yeah, he was knowledgeable. I mean, he was talking. It was funny because he was talking to another grad student, and that grad student brought me over because he knew that I had done some work in hydroponics or whatever. And so he brought me over to talk to him or whatever. And he was he was confident. I can't take that away from him, but he was talking like, yeah, you need to go ahead and you need to go about your business because you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm doing when it comes to this. I had told him about a few, because let me back up. He wants to move his structure into more of a freight container structure system. Because right now he was growing inside of a greenhouse with his single vertical farm, and single vertical tower. And he was yeah, I mean, he was confident. He wants to go to school for it, but then he's like debating if he even wants to go to school for it, if he want to take his business full force, his parents support. He's I think he was a state in FFA, like state positions and national positions are super prominent and important, you know what I'm saying, if you're part of the organization. And so he was a state officer, and he was just super confident, you know what I'm saying, about his operation and the fact that he was able to grow pineapples. Like, ain't too many people can say they able to grow pineapples in this region. So
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And he had pictures and everything. But he was confident about it. And those kids, even some of them in some of their cattle operations, like their parents, and I talk about this all the time, like there's grandparents at these shows. There's parents at these. Sometimes you had a whole family, you know what I'm saying, younger siblings. And that goes back to a whole nother conversation of just, you know, just equity in general, beyond of what we can address. It's like thinking about I'm gonna deter and then come back. It's like SAT and ACT, right? Like that's a system issue. There's gaps, you know, to show that, one, you got a student that's from a low income area. They can't take their parents may not be able to take the time, one, to give them $200, go take a test that they may score low on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And two, be able to just take time away from work. You know what I'm saying? So that's an equity thing that we can't directly address, but you see a lot now. SAT and ACT are still required in some ways, but that some schools have lowered the minimum requirement to get in. Or so you see some of the barriers being broken down. But I say that to say, you know what I'm saying, at FFA National Convention, you had parents that National Convention is a whole week. And if you run for state officer or national office, it's 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying, like 2-week long process. And you got grandparents and parents that, I mean, kids walking around with $300 hats that they bought at the the shops in a whole nother ballroom. Like, you came with your school and dropped $300, $400 on a custom hat. You know what I'm saying? Like custom ropes. And so it's interesting because some of them do have projects, you know what I'm saying, starting very young, where they're taking care of different livestock. They may have 4 or 5 livestock and they starting their own business of maybe you grooming specific livestock for shows, right? That's a whole business.
Yeah.
So kids are getting the tools and, you know what I'm saying, the knowledge and the skill needed to start small but scale it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a nice business to not have to you know what I'm saying, groom, wash, all that stuff, blow the cow out, and do it for somebody so that they you know what I'm saying, their livestock looks nice when they go to show. So that's just different examples of what of how those kids are being trained. But they got some innovative stuff going on, some of these kids.
Yeah, and that's big. That's big. Cause I mean, look, man, I feel like that's hard because, like you saying, we just don't get them opportunities. I remember a couple of years back, me and a friend of mine, Anthony Wilkes, shout out to Logan Wilkes Foundation. We were working at an urban farm together at the time, and we had the opportunity to go out and start different garden beds at different Metro Atlanta schools or whatever. We started at Columbia Elementary. Shout out to Columbia Elementary for giving us a chance to start a garden bed, raise garden beds. But just to start raised garden beds in a community that you really don't, well, number one, it's a food desert. So you don't have access to fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, and stuff like that. Just to start that initiative with those kids was real big for them. And I didn't see the impact of it until we got out there and we started laying dirt and planting seeds and stuff like that. Because you just realize they don't have access to stuff like this and they don't see stuff like this. So to see them plant from seed and then, you know what I'm saying, harvest at the end of the season and put that food on their cafeteria table and see how excited they were to make smoothies out of the berries that they grew and all that type of stuff. That was big, but it also made me think like, man, look, we behind. We behind, like, you know what I'm saying? That stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? You talking about grooming animals and all that type of stuff. They ain't even seeing nothing like that. They seeing the squirrels in the hood, you know what I mean? But they ain't seeing no cattle, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or like, even if you talk about like, you know what I'm saying, vertical growing and stuff like that, vertical farming, like they like, well, we got some garden beds out here at the school, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So man, it's just a huge gap when it comes to that, man. So I mean, like how we started this conversation, that agricultural piece and in the primary K-12 schools is real important, man. It's real important. We need to really tap into that.
I remember when I no, that's real, and I it's happening now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you kind of see it as some of the it's a structure of schools, and it's like non-traditional. I'm gonna have to figure out what the name of it is, but you see some of the small, even if it's not an ag school, or you know what I'm saying, they have ag ed programs at a K-12 level. Some of those schools they almost like charter schools, mixed between a charter and a private school, but I forget the name. I have to find the name of it. But I remember when I had first started my little business at State, and I was going around, you know what I'm saying, it was a program at first because I was working with what's that high school? Not OW, not OC Tech is the college. The Orangeburg, the technical high school.
Yeah.
And I had 2 towers up there, and we did a whole semester program, and those kids literally they started the seedlings from seedlings. Like they started to plant from seedling. And at the end of the semester, they harvested like a lot of tomatoes. That's what we started with, tomatoes. It was the easiest thing to do. The guy who ran the greenhouse, good guy, and the kids were good too. And so when it was time to harvest, I had one of the kids, I think I told this before, but one of the kids was like, I asked him if he wanted to try a tomato, and he was like, I ain't about to try that tomato. And I was like, well, you grew it. Like, y'all grew this from seed. Like, do you see what you produced? And he was like, I don't know where that came from. I'm looking like, what you mean you don't know where it came from? Or he was like, I don't know what's been on it. So I'm like, well, who all you know touch the lettuce that you get from the store? He talking about, I ain't, you know what I'm saying, I ain't think about it like that. I'm like, yeah, like you grew this. You know exactly where it started. You know, you've been in here watering it, checking the, you know what I'm saying, checking the food levels, the nitrogen levels, all the things. And now you don't want to eat what you produce. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to harvest what it is that you sowed. And it's just an interesting way to process. But like I said, I think I told this on this platform before, but I always
it's first time.
Oh, well, I always remember that story because sometimes we don't process it in that way. And I think across agriculture in general, and I open up for y'all to share an experience if you've had to process something like that with somebody before, because people truly don't understand, like it was for me, and I'm like, this is a child too. So in some ways, you know what I'm saying, I understood it's no way that he can understand what I'm trying to process for him, or open up so that he can process for himself what this means. Like, you don't know who touching the lettuce at the stove. But you comfortable as all get out to eat it. But I'm sitting here, you literally come in here weekly, you water, you feed, you know what I'm saying, you nourish these plants. Like, we do this together. And it's foreign to you to even want to eat a tomato that you grew. Like, that was crazy to me. But then, like I said, he was able to process it and understand and kind of, say conceptualize, but he was able to process that whole thing, and he was able to understand in the end. And to me, that's a valuable learning experience, because like I said, even across ag in general, whether it be meat, honey, you know what I'm saying, all these different products that are, byproducts of the things that we use on a daily, people don't understand the value of having your own, growing your own, and what that really means when it's time to really harvest and reap the benefits of what you've sown. So
but I think that's too an important factor, because it start at the house. Because like everything you were saying, as far as like when you was talking about the FFA or just the students, and when you was working at what's the name of that school though? What's it?
I think it's Orangeburg Technical High School.
Orangeburg Tech.
Yeah, whatever it is, because I remember when I was up there, because I ran like 2 different programs up there. One was that research program with Dr. Whitaker, and we did like financial literacy for rural students, and another one was just regular like ciphers and ciphers programs. So, but I was seeing the same thing. Like by that time when I started both of them, the ag teacher that was helping you out with that project, Vic, I don't know, had left. So the whole greenhouse had become like dormant. So I don't even think it was like a year later, like not even, but I don't even think it was a semester later. Like literally after when you finished, that was the last thing they had ever done in there. It was the last thing I had ever done. And I remember some of the students that were from that program with you, they was interested in doing the stuff that we had going on, because we was giving away free iPads.
You know that with that.
We was giving away free iPads, so what I'm saying, all they had to do was just join and just come to the 1 week summer camp. So it helped them out in the long run, because they built our business plans, and also they learn just different careers within the ag field. So anyway, we're just seeing like far as like, and most of them students like 10th grade, 11th grade, was like, think of all them years before that if we could have got them 2nd grade, 1st grade, kindergarten, just simple things like, a lot of them didn't even really know like the plant cycle, life cycle, just simple things like that. They didn't really, you know what I'm saying, they didn't really know nothing about that type of stuff. So it's like, I see the importance of that. Then on top of that, I was thinking about far as like how parents have to be involved in the whole process.
Yeah.
As far, and that's with anything. You see people training with sports, that, you know what I'm saying, they take them to different camps, all type of stuff. But it's like, it's the same thing when you talk about agriculture, like being involved. It's just because it's just essential to what we got going on as far as life. Like, you want to make sure your kids, even if they don't want to go into the ag field, you still want to know what you eating and consuming.
Yeah.
Or putting on your body, because I had taught some this week. It's like, it was talking about as far as like people just get so concerned about what they consuming in their body. They said what you put on your body is just as important, like your deodorants, soaps, and all that too. And thinking about that, and that's still a part of the agriculture business. So I'm like, dang, but we not getting that kind of gain until later on in life, experiencing and really diving into these different kind of conversations and being around people who are in the field. But a lot of people who are not our color, they get these conversations at home.
Yeah, early.
They get these kind of conversations at home, because I'm pretty sure if I had to bet any money, like when you was talking about a student that you had in an interaction with who was building a business, he was one color, and the one who was scared to even eat the food that he produced himself was another color.
You call it what it is. He was white.
my bad.
And then, it's just, if you look at both students' lifestyles, it's at the other end of the Richter scale, whether, white or black or not, but it just goes to show like you could do so much in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do all that you can in the classroom, like hands-on teaching, formal in the books teaching. You can do all things in the classroom, but the real, like you said, the real teaching happens at home. You know what I'm saying? Like